Today you'll see two gorgeous wrap tops made out of woven fabric, super nice details. The long sleeve version has an amazing unique pleated feature here that I've never seen before. Really enjoyed sewing them and I'm excited to share. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing. My smile says it all. I am so happy with the two garments I've sewn in the last couple of days. They are just amazing. I have one version that's a short sleeve, one version that's a long sleeve. The details are beautiful. You're seeing them on screen right here with Kenneth. Her version is beautiful. Kenneth owns and designs, makes the patterns at each stitch. Gorgeous version in linen that you can see there. This is called Mauritius top and it's brand new. The liner here might look a little bit daunting, but it's not that much. Yes, there's many pattern pieces and a lot of steps, but none of them are especially hard. If you just follow and keep sewing all the seams, you will get there. This is a gorgeous wrap top. The wrap top crosses over, of course, is finished with facings, the back as well. The difference with this wrap top is that it doesn't tie on the side like most do. This is a real wrap top. It opens up all the way. The way you finish it is with buttons. Buttons, even on this diagonal section, you have two buttons, making it super safe. And the overlap is nice and high. It's not low. You will not show cleavage at all. You will confirm that when you see it on me. In between the bodice that hits the waist and the peplum, there is a waistband in two layers. One is interfaced, one is not interfaced. Peplum, gorgeous. It's not a long one. It'll hit the high mid hip depending on your height, and it's got a curved feature in the center. And as for fitting, amazing bust studs with cup sizes, waist studs on the front and the back as well. And then for the sleeves, you can sew a regular short sleeve. Nothing special about the sleeve. It's just got a regular hem. But then the long sleeve has an amazing pleated feature here on this area. So nice, so unique. You'll see it. It's amazing. I'd never seen that before. And when I saw Kenneth and her photos, I immediately wanted to sew one of each, of course, because I couldn't miss out on that long sleeve. Because the Mauritius top is a brand new pattern at each to stitch, it'll be 20% off through Monday, the 21st of April. You don't need a code or anything. It'll be discounted until that date. If you want to support the work that I do here on YouTube, you can use my affiliate link. It'll take you directly there. If you end up purchasing, a small amount of that comes back to me as commission, but you don't pay anything extra for that. I really appreciate it if you use my affiliate link. I put a lot of effort into making super helpful content for you to see. You need woven fabric for this design. I would 100% stay with this recommendation. I would not attempt to make this in a knit fabric. It would look sloppy. Facings are not something that a lot of people enjoy doing with knit fabrics. It would just not fit right. Out of the woven fabrics, I think the ones that work best are the more structured ones. Now I have sewn two versions and I can really tell the difference between one and the other because for one of my choices, I chose a more structured linen rayon blend. Linen 55%, rayon 45%. It's super nice and structured. This crossover, the facing, they stay upright. They just look amazing, very nice. For the second version, I also used a blend, but this time 70% rayon, 30% linen, and it's a lot softer, a lot floppier. And you will see the difference. The neckline, it's not as structured and standing upright as the other one. It still feels amazing, but you don't need drape for this one. I would think really hard about using any type of rayon or tencel in this one. Not that you can't use it, but I think it would just be harder to manage and harder for those facings and all the features to look really nice and structured. It's got all those dots and everything, so I would suggest something a bit more structured, like 100% linen rayon blend, linen cotton blend, cotton poplin, cotton shirtings, maybe a light denim, sisaka, that type of thing. You need a little bit of fusible interfacing for the facings and for one of the waistband pieces. You also need to stabilize a section on the inside where the buttons are going to go, so nice little amount of fusible interfacing. You need a few buttons, 3/4 inch buttons. For this one, it's not too many, 3 or 4. And you have a button on the inside that can be smaller. The sizing from 0 to 40 US goes up to a 62 inch hip. Cup sizes in this pattern, love that, from A through to double D. Look at this chart over here. You measure your high bust, your full bust, figure out what the difference is. Mine is 3 inches, which makes me a sewing C cup, which has nothing to do with my cup size on my bra. So don't look at your bra. You'll probably get it wrong for sewing. Your bra cups your bust from the under bust over. it's a different thing. Whereas for sewing, it's more about the projection of the bust forward on the upper bust area. So it's a little bit different. Love this. As for the ease, you get around 4 to 5 inches of ease around the bust area, which is really nice. You can wear your bra. This is not something you're going to be wearing a garment underneath. This is not a topper. I wouldn't wear a turtleneck or things under there. So that is enough to be comfortable. Around the waist, you get 3.5 inches of ease. You know, you've got buttons, so it could be semi-adjustable a little bit. Not that much though, or else it would look a little bit sloppy. And then at the hips, you get around 3.5 inches as well. If you're loving the sewing content and it's really helpful for your own sewing at home, don't step out of this video without tapping on the like button. It's the best thing you can do to help my channel grow here on YouTube. Thanks. So looking at my measurements for personal fitting, I chose a size 12 with the C-cup option, which is going to fit all of this area perfectly. And then my size for the waist is also a 12. But then I think about all the waistbands I'm going to wear under this. And I thought I would just go up to a 14 at the waist as well, because I needed a 14 at the hips. So blending from 12 to 14 at the waist. And then the peplum pieces are 14 all throughout. The waistband is a size 14, and that makes it easier for me. And it just gives me that little bit more room to fit all the waistbands I want, all different types of bottoms. You know, if you're wearing something elasticated underneath, it'll be more bulky than something with a regular waistband. And that does increase your actual waist measurement because it goes on top of your body. So that's what I thought about that. The length of it, I didn't change it. I really like the length of this peplum. I like shorter tops like this. But if you want to, there is a shorten and lengthen line on the peplum if you want to make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. On the bodice pieces, there's also shorten and lengthen lines. In my case, I did make a wearable test garment to confirm all of this was okay. I had the inclination that I wouldn't need bodice adjustments because I'm short-waisted even though I'm taller. My waist is quite standard. My length comes from the waist down to the floor. So that was okay. And I also sort of knew I had to lower the bust dart because I always have to do that. So let me just show you a little peek of my wearable test garment made out of old pillowcases. So it was a really good fun exercise for me to check the fit. And then I was quite happy to cut into my fabric. For sewing, we use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. It's all done on the sewing machine, also on the serger. I really love that at the very beginning, when you're prepping to sew, you serge all the edges from the get-go. I think that is amazing because that is how I like to sew. So it's amazing to see it actually in pattern instructions. I have sewn the whole pattern from beginning to the end in full detail, and it's on my Patreon page. I do one sew along in great detail over my Patreon page. For those of you who want to support my work a little further, it's something exclusive that doesn't appear here on the channel, although here I am going to show you a small summary so you can get a general idea of how to put this together. As I said, the instructions are beautiful. You just tick along and you have an amazing Mauritius top. For this top, we only need to interface 3 pieces. These are the facings. That's the one for the back. This is the front facing. We cut 2 of these. This is going to go diagonally along the top. And as you can see, I have interfaced a slightly larger piece of fabric already. So I can cut this out. This is just 1 piece. This is 2. And then this is one of the waistbands. The other waistband was cut normally without interfacing. Now I've done something, and just because I can get the length of this waistband right up to the selvage, I have folded away the seam allowance here because there's supposed to be a center back seam. So my pattern piece extends. I've just folded away 1/2 inch so I can cut mine on the fold. Just because I have the fabric that is long enough to fit the piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these out. Block fusing, as always, keeps the piece the original shape and size without modifying anything. If the fabric already reacted to the glue, that's happened already and nothing's going to change the shape of these facings now. Here are the pattern pieces for the Mauritius top from Each to Stitch. This is the front. You can see it has that diagonal line because it's a wrap top right there. There's buttonhole marks there. This is the front facing that follows the same shape that is interfaced. There's a bust dart over here on the side. I'm sewing the C-cup, and there's a waist dart right there. The back is cut on the fold. It also has a waist dart right there. In between the bodice and the peplum piece, there is a waistband. I have two here. One is interfaced. This will be on the outside of the garment, and the inner waistband is the one that's not interfaced. Along one of these long edges, there's going to be several marks for you to match up side seams and darts and all of that. And along this other edge, there's no mark. This is the back peplum. It's cut on the fold. It'll match that right there with the waistband in between. Here are the two peplum pieces for the front. Nice and curved shape right there, very pretty. And over there we have a short sleeve. There's also a long sleeve option with a little detail at the bottom. As with any woven project, we're going to stay stitch the necklines first. This is the front, it's diagonal. This has a lot of risk of stretching out because it's basically cut on the bias in this shape. So I'm going to stay stitch from the shoulder down a little under 1/2 inch, which is what we're going to use later to sew on the facings. That's two of them. I'm going to repeat on the other side, and then I'm going to sew the back. With the back, I'm going to sew from the shoulders into the center and then flip the fabric and then sew from the other side into the center as well. That's just to keep the shape of the neckline symmetrical. These are both the bodice pieces. All the basic steps are done. Darts are done, pressed, everything, serged all the edges. So these shoulder seams right there. Now these are the facing pieces. We're also going to sew the shoulder seams. And to make sure you get it right, there are some marks here on this edge that are going to match the neckline. These have to be on the inner edge. The outer edge has no mark. I have gone ahead and aligned the facing to the neckline. The bottom, we have this angle. That's how it goes. It matches exactly. Going up, we have a little line. You can see it slants down and it matches the line on the neckline here. There are the shoulder seams matching the shoulder seams and the curved area of the back. In pressing the facing towards the inside, nice and flat here, extended on the table. I've got half of it on the table. This is the front, and then up to here is half of the back. It's all very nice. And as it lies like this, I'm going to give it some big basting stitches here. While I do this, I'm going to ensure the facing doesn't move anywhere or twist. This is the best way I've found to do this to get the neatest result ever. Okay, here I have the bodice upside down. The neckline is down here and the waist is up there. This is the waistband that's interfaced, the one I have pinned on right here. I had marked my center back with a little line. The next red line you see there matches the back waist dart, the same as this one over here. They match exactly. The next little line that was on the waistband it's a line there that says side, matches the side seam perfect. The next line matches the front waist dart right here. And then you have one that matches this one right there, almost at the center. Those dots are going to be sewn later, this section of the waistband. So you're going to see that at the seam allowance, the waistband protrudes by 1/2 inch right there. You have this hanging over by 1/2 inch. We have this right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our other waistband and put it on the other side, sandwiching the bodice between the two waistbands. So at the end here, these waistbands are right sides together, but with the bodice in between. If you look at it this side, from the wrong side, the bodice is wrong sides up and the waistband is wrong sides up as well. I know it looks totally wrong, but it's going to be totally correct once we're done sewing. So I'm just going to match everything up from one side to the other, pin it all again, and then sew it with a definite stitch at 1/2 inch, stopping at that dot right there. Okay, there are the two seams, the definite one and the basting stitch. This is a lot to leave inside. As usual, we're just going to trim it down, reduce the bulk of the amount of seam allowance in here. Here I have aligned them at the side seams. There's two front peplums and one back peplum, of course. So we're going to get these side seams sewn and pressed open. Here I'm at the ironing board getting the side seams pressed open and also my curved hem pressed up. I don't want to sew it with a machine. You can, of course, if you want to. For some garments and some fabrics, I just love the look of the hand hem. I've got it upside down again. The neckline is over here, the back, and that is the waistline. This is the interfaced waistband that we want because we're going to sew the peplum onto just one layer of the waistband. So here is our peplum, already hemmed nicely. And this is what is going to be sewn onto here, onto this interfaced waistband only. Leave the non-interfaced one hanging off on its own. The peplum is right sides together with the main waistband, the waistband that's interfaced. This inner waistband is still hanging. I'm looking at the bodice
with the wrong side facing up like this. Now remember those dots that we had here on the top? We have the same dot right here. And if I poke a pin through the dot right here, it's going to come out right on the edge of the peplum. So that's what we need to do. We need to sew from here onwards, leave that free because then we're going to sew that and close it, flip it, and then it'll all be super neat. Okay, here we have the waistband. I have already pressed everything. Now what we need to do with this waistband is just fold it right sides together. These little folded edges that I have, I'm going to extend them and just match it up. Now you can see the dots there and there. I've drawn a line in between them just to make it easier for you to see. Okay, there we have it. I'm going to trim this down as well to reduce bulk. Hold it all together and then flip. Here you can see the front neckline that's angled like this with the facing. Super neat. And then we have this section of the waistband finished and it matches the edge of the peplum that comes underneath. This little folded edge, I'm going to fold it back like this. And this is what we need to do next. Align the fold of the inner waistband along the seam and sew this. You can sew it by machine. I'm going to sew it by hand.
This is the first one that I made. It's a print. I know you can't see the details that much, but I couldn't not sew this one. You know, when I was looking at my choices and all my collection, I just thought this was going to be amazing as a summery thing. I'm really liking blue at the moment, and the white and the black can't go wrong. This is the fabric that's more structured, that stands up really nicely. It was so easy to work with it. And we have a button there. I tried to use large black buttons to see if they would contrast a little. So they go like that. And there is the button on the waist. So this is how it goes there. The other side is on the back. It's all like a shirt would. On the right side is where you have the buttonholes, like this. This is the Nosara shirt, by the way, also from Each to Stitch. Amazing. It's got a collar and collar stand. Anyway, it's the same for this. You don't get confused. The right side has the buttonholes, and then the left side goes underneath, and this one goes on the top, like that. That is the waistband right there. Button here, and the button on the inside is not visible because it's sewn on the inner part of the waistband. There is a little peplum. Short sleeve was a regular short sleeve. Now I did do some extra things here, like sew all my hems by hand. So that's hand sewn, that is hand sewn. And let me open this up so you can see. The way that you finish the inner waistband at the end is by edge stitching. And I just wanted to do it by hand as well, so it would be super clean. There is the inner waistband. This bottom section there was finished by hand. Very nice. It was super relaxing, no drama there. Now in this section where we have this button would just be sewn onto one layer of fabric. So on the inside, you've used some interfacing. Really hard to show, but I've used 3 layers of fusible interfacing, a little square to make it more stable. Lots of dots in there. The fit is amazing. Just such a nice top. I was so excited just because the test garment fits so well. I could see it in my mind in the nice fabric, and I was very excited. So let's see this beautiful wrap top on. Styled many ways.
This is my first Mauritius top from Each to Stitch. It's gorgeous in this linen print. It's a linen rayon blend, nice and structured. I've got it paired with matching pants. I think the length of this top is amazing. It's a peplum top. Between the bodice and the peplum there is a waistband, and it's got a crossover feature. It's a wrap top. You'll see the details up closer. I like the length at the high hip. It's not a long peplum. The feet on the back, everything's perfect. There are lots of darts here for shaping, so it's really easy to get a nice fit. I'm going to undo this button here on the waistband so you can see how it crosses over. There's an inner button right there, another buttonhole. The shape of the peplum on the front is nice and curved, super pretty. I did that hem by hand. It turned out beautiful. Up here you can see the neckline, the crossover is quite high, the buttons keep it in place. You're going to be very safe with this wrap top. Fit around the neckline, front back is beautiful. It's all finished with facings. You can see the sleeves are short. There's also a long sleeve version with a detail. Up closer you can see the big button right there. There's only 2 buttonholes on this diagonal neckline and then 1 at the waist. So 3 big buttons across there. I made mine black to see if they could contrast a little bit against my print. There's a facing finish inside, super beautiful. Nice shoulder fit, sleeve fit, comfortable. I can move around, live my life, and the darts fit perfectly. Side bust darts, waist darts. I'm sewing a 12 C cup blended to 14 at the waist and hips. I think the fit is perfect. There's enough space for your waistband underneath because you're always going to be wearing a pair of bottoms. So that actually makes your waist a little bigger in reality. So that's why I went out to a size 14 at the waist. I love the all linen look here. I think it's gorgeous. Here is another fun way with a white denim skirt. The white is messing up the light on the camera, so that's why it looks a little light. But it's beautiful. There's a lot of white in the print. It's a super summery, springy outfit. Anything with white, I think looks nice and light and fresh. And I can't wait to wear this. So, so pretty. White denim skirt, you can't go wrong with a silhouette like this one. The straight style of the skirt also is perfect for the peplum. I think everything looks really balanced here, and I love this look. There's a lot of blue in my print, so of course denim is going to go beautifully. If you're not a fan of denim skirts, swap this for some jeans and it's the same type of idea. It's going to look beautiful, blue with a blue print. It's just so, so pretty and so comfortable. This is a stretch denim pull-up skirt that is mega comfortable. It feels like I'm wearing a knit skirt, but I'm not. And the top is beautiful. It has enough ease to be comfortable, while also everything fitting where it has to be, the waist, the darts, everything's super nice, and I loved sewing it. Here I've pulled out my Eddystone jeans from Itch to Stitch. The navy, the darker wash is beautiful. I love the fit of these straight leg jeans. It's one of the best jeans I've made. They're super comfortable for non-stretch denim. They pair perfectly with this short linen top. I think it looks super nice. Jeans are always casual, but a top like this dresses them up beautifully. I love this for a day that's hot, but where you can still tolerate the jeans.
Now for my second version, I used a solid red. I could not sew it in red. Actually, I bought quite a lot of yardage out of this fabric and I knew that it was there. I knew I had enough, and it's always going to be a win for me if I sew something in red, just like this one. So, ta-da! This is my long sleeve version. Now, the difference with this one, I didn't put all the buttonholes and buttons in this area. You know, it crosses over really well. I don't need a pin. You'll see it on. It's just perfect. You don't need the buttons. Although they're perfect, I did sew it like that with my short sleeve version. But as I was trying it on, I kept noticing if I don't button these, nothing collapses, nothing gapes. It's perfect. So for this one, I just kept it really simple. I just have the button here on the waist and the button on the inside right here. But this, I left it nice and clean. Now, check out the drape of this fabric. It's because there's 70% rayon, 30% linen. It's quite floppy compared to the other version, which I don't know if it's a plus or a minus. It definitely feels soft and comfortable on the body, but it just looks a little floppier, if you know what I mean. All this draping business here. But on the body, this looks perfect. This is here with this one, you might see the dots a little bit more. There are dots on the back, dots on the front, the waistband. Now with this waistband, I did not sew it by hand. I do have some edge stitching there. Maybe the camera will focus on it. I also did the hem by machine this time as well. That was okay. I hand basted it first and the curve turned out beautiful. Now this is the gorgeous detail on the sleeve. It's so pretty. It's 4 inverted box pleats, but they're done after the hem is up. So it's a double layer right there. Such a fun sew. I loved doing that. It was so nice. I did a really quick rough one on my test garment and I was already so excited because it was going to look so much better with this fabric. So nice. I didn't make any adjustments to the length of the sleeve. So it was perfect for me, and I have longish arms. So just have a think, if you're shorter, you might want to shorten your sleeve by ½ an inch or something like that. Now, I wanted to keep as much fabric as I could because I do have enough fabric to make a pair of pants or a short or a skirt or something. So anything that wasn't essential, I used leftover fabric from this cotton poplin. I made the Ladera shirt. Let me show you some images here last year, also from Itch to Stitch using this fabric. Such a nice fabric. I left tiny amounts there. That was enough to cut this facing for the back. The facing on the front is made from the linen, but the waistband is made out of this as well. Super nice. Now on this side that crosses over, I didn't want to have the cotton right there because it could be seen. So I have a piece of linen and then the cotton starts over here all the way to this other side. This one doesn't matter because this is the internal bit. What I didn't want was anything to move and that you would see that print in there. But I think it looks pretty. I did it to save on the main fabric and also because it's pretty. Also to customize it to what I love. And I love using little remnants like that in special details on the inside that no one's going to know. But I know, and it makes me super happy. So second version, just as amazing. Looks a little different, fits a little bit different because of the fabric.
This is my second Mauritius top from Itch to Stitch, same size as the other one, 12 with a C-cup blended to a 14 waist and hips. This is a red rayon linen blend, 70% rayon, 30% linen, so it's a little drapier, a little floppier than the other one. I love it paired with these colorful wide leg pants. I think super striking. No length adjustments. I only lowered the bust-out, that was it. I've got the long sleeve version in this one, and the long sleeves are so beautiful. And check out the details of the hem. There's these little pleats there that are super unique, super fun to sew, and something I hadn't done before and I really enjoyed. Hats off for that design feature. There is the peplum. I've got buttons on the waist only. The same, there's a little curve right here. This time I did a waistband in a contrast color. I didn't put the buttons on this diagonal area of the wrap because the ones at the waist hold it up really perfectly. I don't really need a pin either. I feel quite safe. So I left it simple with this one, and there you can see how good the cover is. It's not low, I'm not showing cleavage, nothing like that. You can see my bust dart there, the waist darts, all the amazing fitting features and a very comfortable sleeve. This fabric is so soft, feels amazing on, and I love the red here and I can't wait to wear this out. This is more of like a winter top for me, super useful now that I'm headed into autumn and winter. Here I've got it paired with a wrap skirt in linen. I think wrap on the top, wrap on the bottom looks super cool. I love the tulip shape there of the long skirt because you can still see a lot of my legs, and I've always loved the combination of navy and red. Because this is nice and fitted at the waist and it fits amazing with all the darts, I think you can get away with wider style bottoms, whether skirt or pants. And I think these go together really well. I love this look. Favorite colors put together. Another wrap skirt. This is a hack from a regular A-line skirt, and it's actually the same tone of red, but only that this has stripes. I think it looks super nice. The skirt is a little longer than what I'm used to. It's right below the knee, but I think it looks super nice. Love the silhouette here, nice and balanced. A little bit of volume at the bottom of the skirt, but not too much, and I think it matches the detail of the sleeves at the hem perfectly. Absolutely love these, and I'm glad I have a red tone that matches the skirt perfectly because not all reds go together, but these do, and I'm very glad. Here I'm dressing up my Eddystone jeans from Itch to Stitch. I love these jeans, they fit amazingly, and this top dresses them up beautifully. Really love these jeans. What can I say? Straight legs, really classic. And I think they pair perfectly with this peplum top. The peplum top fits amazing, but it's not a super fitted top. So I think it looks amazing with a pair of straight leg jeans. I love the wash of these. I think goes together with the red perfectly. I wouldn't want a denim that's too light in the wash. I don't think that matches red that well, at least in my view. So this darker blue, perfect.
I love these two Mauritius tops. They are just so amazing. One's more structured, one's a little drapier and softer. So nice. Both fabrics really nice to work with. They both look super different. All the buttons are here, just less buttons over here. I think it still looks amazing. And I'm really happy I took the time to make both. Really recommend the pattern. If you've never sewn Itch to Stitch before, you're going to be super happy with the fit and with the instructions. I think the cup sizes are super amazing. So I really recommend grab it while it's on sale. I'm very happy. I do really think that wrap styles look good on everyone. I've never seen someone that doesn't look good in a wrap style. It's just so nice and classic. So I was so happy to sew a style that was totally my jam. That's all from me today. You'll see me a lot this week. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you then. Bye.